Hey everybody, it's the Doctor here with Typical Manga Fan, and with this episode of the Typical Manga Review, we're going to be going over One Piece, Chapter 792, on Hands and Knees. And we open up with a cute little cover of Leo getting all their little bug buddies to spell Happy Birthday in the sky for Mancheri. That's that's sweet and adorable.
Yeah. She's like nice to everyone except for Leo, right? Because she has a crush on him.
She has a crush on him, and he's so oblivious that it pisses her off.
Yeah, but she is nice to everyone else, though, right?
Yeah, basically she's a tsundere, but she's only tsund to him.
Yeah.
Anyway, we open up here with everybody celebrating Doflamingo's defeat. Sabo is kind of learning this as well. But he's not going to finish off Jesus Burgess. He's like, "You're not going to finish me? Pfft, no need. I think it's all over now." And Burgess is like, "You're all too soft, all of you brothers." Meanwhile, the little phone snail in Sabo's pocket is going off. But he's not paying any bit of attention whatsoever, because Burgess is taunting him with what Ace said to him after Blackbeard defeated him way back then. And apparently, the crew's, Sabo's group is kind of aware of this habit of his. He doesn't answer unless he feels like it. Apparently, when Ace was beaten there and captured, the one thing he asked was they don't tell his brother, which Burgess points out that was kind of a stupid thing to ask, because of course the government was going to make a big deal out of his capture no matter what they did.
It really was. Yeah, it's kind of like, well, they did. I mean, everyone knew about it from the papers, so it's kind of that's interesting.
Of course, all this mockery is kind of pissing off Sabo, so he grabs Burgess right in the face, and he is very pissed about all this.
I think he's crushing it, right?
Kind of. It was like, at the same time, this is kind of what Burgess was hoping for. He wanted to get Sabo riled up and to make a mistake in anger. But it's like, it kind of backfires, because when Burgess makes his move, I've had Sabo screams out he's had enough regrets and just fire fists him way into oblivion. It's like, I was gonna let you go, but Ace here said you deserved it. He says while holding up his fiery hand.
And Jesus goes blasting off again.
Yeah, or at least he's sitting there charred and burnt. Anyway, he finally answers his phone, and Koala's like, "Where have you been? I saw Burgess making his way after Luffy." And Sabo's like, "Yeah, I've already got taken care of that." So he starts making sure, he starts kind of going through his checklist of things and what they need to do, and Koala's done everything already. They're just waiting on him now. Of course, before she can even explain that, he hangs up on her, which causes her to get so mad he starts beating up one of her guys just out of pure frustration.
Sabo hurt Jesus. He's going to hell.
Oh, yeah. Well,
he's already on fire.
Yeah, exactly. All we need is someone on this team to get a brimstone fruit, and we're good.
Yeah. I like how she calls. She calls him Peter. It was kind of weird, but I like her. I'm just happy that she's back, because her backstory was really sad, and it was really a shame that Fisher Tiger got killed after that. But it was just like, wow, she really we didn't let her just we didn't let her be be erased from our minds. They brought her back. She actually makes sense. They actually developed a character. She wasn't a throwaway character. Yep. They actually. I was like, oh my gosh. What's sad is that she grew up never knowing what actually happened to him. But
or she did know, and that's why she's a revolutionary in the first place.
Well, yeah. No. Initially, she didn't know. That was true. She didn't know. But I'm saying that I was afraid that she didn't know before she appeared, and that she would grow up, never knowing. And I thought that was such a shame. The fact that she did come back shows that either she either never knew, but maybe there was still some part of her that wanted to find out she's Fisher Tiger, or that she did eventually find out, and that's what led her to become a revolutionary.
Or she did it on her own and didn't know, or she just did everything completely on her own. What I want to see now is when she meets up with Jinbei again.
Well, I know. I think she did do it because of Fisher Tiger, because otherwise she would become a substitute Fisher Tiger, a substitute Fisher.
Yeah, Fishman Karate. That is kind of the link on there. So I assume that's what makes me assume that she does know about it.
Well, no, she at least tried to find out. At the very least, she tried to either find Fisher Tiger, which I said before, or she didn't know. Eventually knew, because it was shown that she didn't know at first.
Yeah. Anyway, like I said, I want to see what happens when she and Jinbei finally come face to face again.
Yeah. So they show all the executives that were beat.
Except Baby 5.
And it shows that with oh my bad. It shows Senor Pink being like the girls like, don't look at him, go away from him.
Like don't arrest him. And then of course they're also being notified that nearly all of them have devil fruit powers. And actually, of all of them, thinking the only two I can think of that didn't have devil fruits were Lao G and Dellinger, huh?
Yeah. It's interesting though. But I always thought that girl was like, don't take a picture. But yeah, you're right. The arresting makes more sense.
Yeah, we see them tie up Doflamingo in chains, and for some reason, Fujitora Isho. He's like, we're not supposed to report in yet. They're not reporting what's happened yet. What is happening instead, that there's a broadcast to nearby islands, the island near Dressrosa, where Maynard, the vice admiral that's been with him, is actually showing everybody what's happened to Dressrosa, or what's left of it.
Yeah. But yeah. So then something that unprecedented happens and that we didn't expect.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see the page. And first off, everyone's saying, first off, everyone wants the frick is his name again? I totally forgot. King Riku to come back to be king again. He doesn't want to, but eventually they're like, "Let's come on, we want you. We don't care if we live in poverty. Just make Dressrosa the country of peace it once was." I'm glad they're like basically begging him, because honestly, after the whole fiasco, I think he kind of deserves a lot of
at least apology and recognition there. I don't know if
I
still think Heroes would probably be the king of choice here. So I
know
that to happen, but
you made your opinion known on that. But
I do like the little moment here with Elizabello too.
Yeah, because they're both kings, and like, don't keep everyone waiting now. Be king again. Bring him back. The King of Miracles, Riku Dold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but then the unprecedented thing that happens is that he comes in and says the whole Shichibukai system. He came in, made himself king. Speaking about Doflamingo, citizens of Dressrosa, members of the royal family.
This is Fujitora, by the way.
Yeah, that's did I say that? I think I said it.
I didn't hear you say his name. So.
Oh yeah, Fujitora. He comes in and he says sorry, and he basically asks for the forgiveness, and he bows down, which is like an admiral doing that. It's like, holy shit.
And so do all of his Marines. So like they all bow down on hands and knees and humbly apologize on behalf of the government. Which actually reminds me, did I say the chapter title earlier? Did I say it was on the chapter title was on hands and knees?
It's prostrate.
Oh well, you have manga stream there. Except remember, it's Monday, so I'm using the Viz version here.
Yeah.
Anyway, like I said, Fujitora's like, we've done you a terrible disservice. Yeah. And apparently, like, before he reports in officially, to report what's happened, he's making sure everybody around Dressrosa knows exactly what happened. And
well, first off, I think it makes sense to call hands and knees or whatever you just said, because prostate, right, can really almost look like prostate, and that's like a weird ass title. But it's interesting. First off, interesting that the title's weird. It's changed too.
Well, it could just be a case of translation. Like it could be like a word, one of those words that can have different meanings. Like the Japanese title is probably the proper term that they have for getting down on your hands and knees like that.
Yeah, I think so. But it's just that it's kind of weird because the titles they're usually the same throughout all translations.
Not usually. There can be little differences, especially with One Piece.
Can be little. Just that this is what I'm saying usually, but
there is a variation though.
Yeah. But anyway, not recently, of course, but with Fujitora, it's like this is actually changing. You said it was kind of the opposite of Alabasta. The whole how he beat Doflamingo. Well, here's the opposite. Where we had people covering it up in Alabasta, and here's an admiral who's saying, no, everyone's gonna know what happened. Yep. The Pirate Alliances it was the one that brought down Doflamingo.
Actually, like I said, I've been following the anime recently, like week by week right now, and they had some episodes on there where it's like Maynard's remembering like Isho talking about how the Marines keep doing the same thing. Like something happens, they cover it up, and nothing changes.
Why did what's really confusing me is that this is a guy who doesn't he have like the confidence of Sakazuki?
That's something I've seen brought up in discussing threads here and there as well. It's like he was sent there, and he, at the very least, Akainu said or Sakazuki said he assured everybody who was worried about the situation in Dressrosa by telling them that he was sending Fujitora on the case. And he was putting Fujitora on the case to look into it.
That's weird because Sakazuki would never be what Fujitora is doing.
Unless he wants to get rid of those 7 warlords of the sea also. I mean, he might not like upsetting the balance, but we know how he feels about criminals and pirates, so I can see him there.
But he doesn't make compromises. That's the whole point of absolute justice. You don't make compromises. What Fujitora is doing is saying, I want to destroy the Shichibukai system, but in doing so, I'm going to reveal the fact that 2 pirates basically beat him, and therefore are heroes. And
in that sense, Fujitora is not really compromising either. In fact, I think one of the threads I saw, like it was TV Trope Forum, I think, called this probably the ballsiest move in the entire series.
Oh no, it is ballsy. What I'm saying is, it's not compromising to him, but it's compromising to the Marines and Sakazuki. So that's what I'm saying. Sakuzuki would never let this happen, or well, at least I not think so, because in his eyes, it would be Fujitora is making the Marines look bad.
Yeah, and I think Fujitora is kind of aware of this. That's why he's doing all this before he reports in.
Yeah.
So that he can do it before he's given any official orders to do something specific.
I'm just curious as to why Sakuzuki supposedly handpicked this guy. So it's like, it's weird. And I've never heard of Fujitora's new character. I mean, we never saw him as a vice admiral. We never saw him as any other rank. He just came out of nowhere.
In that case, he even said that he was drafted into the Marines during the previous 2 years.
Yeah. So he's new. So this guy doesn't have, exactly the same Marine experience as everyone else. So it's interesting. That means he was probably handpicked and sped up to, and at least maybe given the rank of admiral by Sakuzuki, which again is holy shit. Why would he do that? It's just this is a guy who's like his total opposite. This guy's even more quote unquote moral than Aokiji, or who's now known as what's his name now?
Kizaru?
Kuzan. There you go.
Oh, Kuzan. Yeah, his real name. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, who's Kuzan because he's not a Marine anymore. He's not a Marine anymore. But yeah, Kuzan. I mean, Kuzan was always supposed to be like the most moral, fair of them. Freaking Kizaru was an asshole.
But even then, like Sakuzuki had respect for Aokiji. I remember they fought their 10-day death match, but Sakuzuki didn't kill him. Yeah, but that means but they were friends. But at the same time, though, would Sakuzuki rather have him under his in the Marines? It's one of those things where he already think as though what's his name? Kuzan already had that rank, so it's not like he could demote him, right? Right. And not like Kuzan would have allowed for it anyway.
Yeah.
He was prepared to resign anyway.
Yeah. And honestly, you can argue that maybe killing Kuzan, even though it was supposed to be a bout to the death, it would have still looked bad. For a guy who's all about justice, killing a Marine, that doesn't look good at all. Especially
since there was a case of arguments of principle.
Yeah. So yeah, it just doesn't. It won't look good. Whereas he had it wasn't necessary, or maybe it was necessary to get this guy. Maybe because he was filling his because they said he made his Marines a lot more about absolute justice. Maybe to appease the other side of the crowd, he had Fujitora rise in rank to control them. You know what I'm saying? Like the guy who can mediate between the more absolute justice versus maybe the smaller crowd that's not absolute justice, because you can't make everyone all be on one side. It's just not possible. And this is something that's done in Gundam 00, where one of the Marina Ismail, she actually had a friend who was on the other side who was on the opposition, and the reason why he's on the opposition was because he wanted to control his side and make sure that war doesn't break out between them.
Like he wanted to kind of control from that side.
He wanted to make sure that everyone remained calm and reasonable. Maybe that's the whole point of Fujitora, where he wanted Fujitora to kind of make sure that they felt that he wanted the other guy, the Marines, the non-absolute justice Marines, to have representation, right. And therefore kind of it's a way to shut them up, basically.
Yeah, I mean, and that would make sense. Like so, or even Sakuzuki himself realizing he needs some kind of moderating influence. Yeah, which seems unlikely with his character, but still. But this is
so extreme, though. This is like if you're bowing down as an admiral and basically again admitting that pirates, again, complete opposite of Alabasta. But there's no way Sakuzuki comes out looking good. No way.
Yeah. Not unless he actually takes down Fujitora right after this. But again, I think Fujitora might be aware of that. I think he's aware enough of this to actually make his move first.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, why would the idea of Sakuzuki being the one who handpicked Fujitora ever be introduced if it wasn't for the fact that it's just like it feels like if it wasn't going to be important, I feel like it would be pointless because.
Right. I mean, like I said, that's making me very interested to see Akainu's reaction to all this. See what he does in response to learning what Fujitora has done.
Technically Sakuzuki, because he's no longer Kainu. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Because you get promoted. You get promoted to Admiral, you get a nickname, and then you get promoted to Fleet Admiral, and then you lose your nickname. It's like, what the hell?
Maybe that's why Garp never wanted the job. He didn't want the confusion.
Yes. Totally.
All right. Anyway, I think that brings us to wrap up on One Piece. On One Piece here this week. See, that was. What chapter number was this one again?
792.
Thank you. Yeah, chapter 792 on hands and knees, or prostrate, depending on which version of it you're looking at. Like I said, depending on how cooperative Crunchyroll's doing, we may have a episode for Inside Mario, either if not the same day with everything else here, then a little bit later in the week. Meantime, go ahead and take us away.
Bye!